Going, everybody, and welcome back to class. So this week, we are going to be continuing our investigation in theme 2 of the course, where we take a look at the microscopic view of life and its processes. So last week, we took a look at the diversity of cells. We learned that cells come in a variety of different types. We actually have three broad groups where you have the eukaryotes, which are going to be your plants and animals, your prokaryotes, which are going to be bacteria, and then we have the third lesser known group called the arachnidae, which tends to be blended more and lumped into the prokaryotes, and these guys represent early bacterias that are highly specialized. So now, and before that, we learned about biomolecules. How do cells get their fuel source? By absorbing and utilizing things like carbohydrates, lipids, proteins. And now let's actually look a little closer and take a look at the cell membrane. The cell membrane is critical to the survival of the cell. It acts as a boundary between the cell and its environment by keeping the cytoplasm and organelles inside and contained. And it prevents the movement of harmful organisms and other particles. It keeps that cell protected, but it's not an impenetrable wall. In fact, it's quite the contrary. If it were, the cell, if it wasn't an impenetrable wall, would use up too many resources, nutrients, and then eventually die. We need to be able to understand that layer of protection this week. The cell membrane is also referred to as a plasma membrane, and it functions like a bag of tightly woven fabric more than a wall. The membrane allows for molecules, including gases and carbon dioxide, to pass readily through the surface to keep that cell healthy and happy. So I've actually got a little animation that I'd like to show you that will show you the cell. Well, you take a look at that. So right now we have our cell right here in the purple. We have interstitial fluid, which is just where it's with the fabric and where a cell moves around. There's those lipids right there that we talked about in the biomolecules, a protein pump. You have plasma membranes. And so really, this is how resources like oxygen can move around. Carbon dioxide can leave the cell. Sugars pass through GLUT transporters to get absorbed into that cellular membrane and keep that cell healthy and energized. Potassium is also used. Sodium is expelled. Water is also expelled, but then also taken in because that cell is also trying to maintain homeostasis or an equilibrium. So that way it doesn't take on too much water and then burst, or it doesn't remove too much water and shrivels up. And enzymes, and we'll learn more about enzymes later in the class, but enzymes are very important as they are manufactured within the cell and then leave and then enter the rest of the body and then get taken in by other cells that might actually need it. So that's what our tasks for the week will consist of. You're going to go in, you're going to learn more about the cellular membrane and learn about processes like diffusion and osmosis. Then in lab, you are going to apply your knowledge using interactives and learn a little bit more about this process, because I find it's very interesting because last week we learned about that diversity of the cell and the different types and groups and how biologists classify the cells and life. But now we're going to actually get more into that anatomy of a cell, something that I think everybody in here has a keen interest in. as that lays foundational ground for work for more complex studies dealing in ecology, which we'll cover in theme 3 of the class. If you have any questions, please reach out. You can reach me by swing by my office in person. You can set up a video chat or send an email. Thank you and have an excellent day on planet Earth.